Oh, I want this to go live where it's supposed to be going live and show up correctly. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think it finally is. Oh my God. Whew. You guys, I can't tell you how uh, difficult it is to get to do this and get it right when you have so many things going on. I think, I think I finally got it right. Oh my God, I think I finally did. I think I'm up. I think it's showing up correctly on YouTube. I think it is showing up correctly on my StreamYard. Yes, finally. Good gracious. Um, somebody was watching a couple of minutes ago. I didn't catch the name because it just kept messing up and just said, I feel so intimidated by technology nowadays. And sometimes I feel you because I don't have the time to sit in classes and things like that. And there's no shade to that. If you can do it like that, that's awesome. Um, and I also can't afford to sit in what is it called? Analysis paralysis, where I sit down and try to make it all pretty and plan it out on paper and this and that. I don't have the time to be in analysis paralysis either. I got to get things done. So the way that I have to do it is I just do it. I do it and I learn as I go and I fine tune as I go. But I got to get it done. I am team get it done. So here I am doing it like that, and it's not easy either way, but I will say this as a woman and as a mother, when you are trying to get things done and you're running the same race as other people, but you're running it with many more obstacles and challenges. So to all of my creators who are mothers, especially single mothers, um, man, ladies, just hugs and sprinkles and love and salute and all that stuff and flowers because it's nothing short of magical, miraculous upstairs now, whenever we get things done because of what it takes for us to do it. I'll say that. So I'm trying to get into this story. I told it, I went live a couple days ago, but then I discovered that the reception was terrible. So as you're listening, please drop me a comment, post a comment, and let me know that you can hear it fine. We're not having any reception issues. Join the conversation this way as well. Drop comments. If you are listening live, then drop the comment live. If it's replay, then then drop a comment. Let me know it's a replay so I can kind of go back and check out some of those things later. Also, this is my brand new channel, Darling Nikki Grinds. Please subscribe and love, like, and share. Okay. All right. So let's get into this conversation. So I'm traveling, taking care of some work business a couple days ago, and it's three of us in the Sprinter. And the cool thing was, it was like three different it was like three different type of diasporic perspectives. Yes, I made that word up, and if you've been rocking with Darling Nikki for a couple of months, you know I love to do that. Hey, you need to get out and go upstairs now. Go. My little one, all in my face again. Jesus. Get out. Upstairs. Move. Like I said, real life stuff happening. Jesus. Oh. So, conversation happening a couple days ago. We were traveling, we were just being moved from one position to another, and we had about an hour together. And the conversation got so spirited so quickly, which was really cool. And we were talking about just life and sharing stories and things like that. And as we were doing it, okay, so three people in the van. First of all, one of them was another young lady. She was about half my age. I cannot believe I'm saying that she was half my age. She was African, and I'm not even going to try to guess exactly where, but she did let us know that she's African, and you could tell by her features too. Amazing features. And then there was another guy, probably half my age as well, and he appeared. If I would if I had to guess his ethnicity, I would say somewhere like North African, the part of Africa where they say they're not African, although they're still on the same continent. But he did not have that type of attitude. Yeah, that's great because otherwise he would not be invited to sit at my lunch table and talk with me. So there's all three of us, and then of course there's me, African American. We're talking about different things. I'm not quite sure how the conversation got to this place, but it quickly got to a place to where this young lady was talking with us about her life. So it started to get kind of personal, as a lot of these conversations often do. In our field, as soon as you sit down next to someone on the jump seat, or in the limo or the sprinter, or sometimes a cheap van, you almost instantly become best friends, and you just start talking about everything, and we become each other's therapist and everything. So she's talking about her life, and she's talking about how she's divorced. And first of all, she's in her early 20s, she appeared to be, and she said she was divorced. And I got to pause right then and right there to say something to my ladies. When I'm giving advice and telling stories, it's because I've made all the mistakes for you, so you don't have to, okay? Just listen to my stories. Either I've made the mistakes or other people have made the mistakes on me or to me, so you don't have to. Do not get married early. Don't get married young. Don't get married in your 20s. I would say I would warn you or almost beg you not to get married until you have created a life for yourself and money for yourself and career and everything else for yourself that you are so in love with, until you've gotten to that space where you love yourself and the life that you've made for yourself so much. Because then when you get married, you're not trying to fulfill something through another person. Just please, just remember that and adhere to that. So she's in her early 20s. She is divorced from her African husband, and they have, but I'll say she has, because really just she has a 2-year-old daughter. She's talking about how she's got help and support through her mother, and his aunties help her out and things like that. All right, hold on, guys. Let me mute myself for a minute. All right, I had to take care of some house business. I didn't want you guys to hear me get a little gangster. So she's talking about how she has support from different areas and from different people in that particular way. And then she also talks about how, then she starts talking about, we're in New York at the time. So she's like, how can you guys afford to be here? It's so expensive. I live in Georgia, so I commute, this and that. And I'm saying this for a reason, because she has one child and she's complaining about not knowing how to afford to live on the East Coast, which would probably be better for her because she wouldn't have to commute. I have 4 children and I'm living on the East Coast. And I'm not saying this to say that I am better. I'm saying this to say that some of my choices are different. And that's the whole thing. She does not want to file child support. But because I hold people accountable and I refuse to wear this badge of honor of having to do it all by myself, because I didn't create this life by myself. Um, that's one of the ways that I can make it here to a degree. So she also goes on to say that, no matter what, this is her baby and she's got this. And then she said that line that made me and the guy both kind of go like, "What? What?" She was like, "And I don't get child support, and I'm not going to file child support on him. I'm not going to put him through that." Guys, long, audible sigh. Okay? Long, audible sigh. She was dead serious. She said she is not going to put him through that. So you know me, the debate ensued. And I didn't even say anything. All I did was have a look on my face. As soon as she said that, and I had a look on my face, she immediately put her hands up and was like, "No, no, no, no. Hear me out. Hear me out. Let me explain. Let me explain." I didn't even say anything. Now, if you immediately have to start defending yourself and your position, you already know that what you said, whatever just came out of your mouth, is probably a whole bunch of knuckin' futs. And it was. It was. It was abso-doo-doo. That's what it was, abso-doo-doo. Absolute buffoonery. but I'm trying to listen to her and let her speak before I speak, and I'm also trying to make sure that I attack the problem and not her. So she goes on to tell me and the guy, and we're both looking at each other like, we ain't trying to hear this shit. We're not trying to hear this ridiculousness. But she goes on to talk about how, again, he was such a horrible husband, and that he was a terrible partner. And what else did she say? I want to get it right. He cheated on her all the time, and now he's living with his new girlfriend. He's living with his new girlfriend she's a single mother of two. So that money that should be child support for her and their child is now it's now child support money for her and her kids. And we're just like, mm-hmm. Hold on, let me type this out real quick. She didn't want to file. I'm still responding to a couple of things here. So we're listening to her say all this dumb stuff and everything, and we're like, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. And she had to shut me up because when she said he's living with his new girlfriend that's got two kids, and he's over there being able to be the hero and the daddy with child support money that belongs to her, she was like, so I'm not going to be bothered with it. It's okay. He can do whatever he wants to do. I got this over here because I got this, and she's still taken care of well. And I'm just like, "Really? So you think it's okay that you" Oh, no, actually, the first person to speak was not me, it was actually the guy. So he said to her, "I think what Nikki is trying to say to you," and I didn't even get to say anything, mind you. She's arguing with herself at me because I never even really said anything yet. But she knew by the look on my face what I was going to say, so she's arguing back with that. And he was like, "What I think Nikki is trying to say or communicate with you is that, you're not this is not a bad thing. You just told us all these reasons why he should be on child support. He is a deadbeat dad, and he's also a deadbeat husband." She talked about how they were still married for a long time, and she just finally was able to divorce him. Um, just all the things that she's saying. And the whole time also, she's talking about him the whole time. Not once did we ever learn about this little girl. It was him, 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 him. Everything that he's doing now, everything he did to her. And I understand needing to get that out and the shock of just the disappointment. But that's so I'm when I finally get a chance to speak, she kept talking about him, and I said, he doesn't matter. And I said, you just told us that you don't know how you can afford to live on the East Coast. But then in the same breath, you said, "It's all good. It's okay. I got this. I got this, and I'm doing everything I can for my daughter, and I'm doing the absolute best and everything else." And I said, "But are you doing everything?" And she was like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Are you sure you're doing everything you can to give her everything that she needs?" She's looking at me like I'm retarded or like I just tried to like come for her. And I'm like, "Stay with me, sis." I said, "Let's pretend like there's a table right here in between us." I said, I'm sitting one stack of 50,000 here, and I'm setting the second stack of 50,000 here. You got 2 stacks of 50,000 on the table." As soon as I said that, the dude looked at me and he was like, "Aha, aha." So, I said, "There's 2 stacks here in front of you." I was like, "They're both yours. They're both set here on the table for you. Which one are you gonna take?" She got real indignant with it too. "What you mean, which one? I can't take all of it?" I said, "Exactly." As soon as I said that, she totally understood what I meant. And after understanding and agreeing that that made a whole lot of sense, she still went back and doubled down on, "But I'm not gonna do this." And she started creating this whole scenario. I'm not gonna be going to court back and forth to court, and I have to drag him and enforce him and all that. And we're like, who said you have to do all that? You just need to file the papers. But you said you're doing everything for her, right? I said, don't you think she's entitled to support from from him and you? Are you doing everything? I said, because there's a whole nother stack over here that belongs to your daughter, but you're letting your pride get in the way. Like, who told you? Who told you that, like, it's okay to let him off the hook? So she continued to talk about, like, all the reasons why she's not going to, and she doesn't want to, and she's fine by herself, and I'm like, "But really, are you? Because you just told us you couldn't afford to live on the East Coast." and you couldn't afford to move. I'm like, "You don't think that all of this stuff could factor in? Like, when you have to tell your daughter no for something because you don't have the money, you don't think that it would be a little different if you did have more? She's entitled to it, you're entitled to it." And the argument just kept ensuing, and she kept digging her heels in as to why she is not going to do it, as if this was some honorable thing, as if her holding him accountable to a child that they both intentionally made in their marriage, so it was intentional, but even if it wasn't, it's a child that they both made, that somehow it's a badge of honor to her that she's not going to do it and that she's just gonna carry the load all by herself. Um, the other guy in the sprinter said to her, "Okay, guys, shh, shh, shh." The other guy said to her, "So what you're telling us is you are doing the work of 2 people, but you're okay of doing the work of 2 people, but only getting paid for 1." Every time we said something, it was almost like some sort of drop squad situation that we were trying to do. Every time we said something that made sense and she agreed that it did, "Guys, quiet. You were supposed to be upstairs." Every time she agreed that it made sense, she still doubled down on, but she's not going to do it. And she was doing it from a space of ego and honor, which is the hugest oxymoron ever. And she kept talking about him and what she doesn't want to do to him. Uh, Toward the beginning of the conversation, before devolved into that sheer Fuckery. Um, we were talking about makeup habits and things like that and how, uniform compliance and, uh, I was telling her about, like, how I only wanna have a 5-minute makeup routine, we were laughing about that, and she said to the both of us, "I already know I'm ugly, so it doesn't matter what makeup I put on," like, because and before she could finish it, I was like, "Girl, who told you that? You are beautiful. You're gorgeous." She had dark, dark chocolate skin, the color of coal, the color of one of the most sought after and valuable resources here that is worth millions and billions of dollars. That was the color of her skin, and it was clear and bright, beautiful skin. And I wish that she could see herself, and I really hope and pray that one day she does see herself the way that I saw her, and the way that that raggedy Ashgardian ex-husband saw her, which is why he wifed her. Um, Her features, her African features were so, um profound is not the word I wanna use, but I'll do that. Very stark, striking features, beautiful bright eyes, uh, kinky, coily, natural hair that she was wearing, and she was fit. I mean, just beautiful, just without needing any makeup or anything. I mean, lotion, brushed up the eyebrows, went on about her business, looked great, rocking the uniform. I mean, this woman is gorgeous, and she called herself ugly, and then she also defended that. She doubled down on it. Like, "You don't have to try to gas me up. I know I'm ugly." Like, that correlates to this notion that she has about how she doesn't need to file child support. It goes hand in hand, and I hope you'll stick with me for this conversation about how that goes hand in hand. These type of I don't know what to call them, Neanderthals, imbeciles, Ashgardians, ugh, Pookies and Ray Rays of all different dialects, of all different African dialects and African American dialects. They look at women like her. They look at women like you, because if you're still listening, I'm probably talking to you. They look at women like the woman that I used to be, and even the woman that I am today, the different version of her, and they see your value. They see your wealth, they see your worth, and they see your beauty. They don't want you to see it. So what they do is they project their own ugliness onto you, and everything they think about themselves, They say it to you because they want to colonize your mind, your spirit, your body, your emotions, and they want to bring you down to their level by any means necessary for their survival in order for them to be able to latch onto you like the parasites that they are and drain you for your resources and survive and thrive off of you. If they can convince you that you are worthy of nothing, that you're worthless, that you're ugly, all of those things, now they're able to feed off of you and get from you the emotions, the love, the Barbara the Builder energy, the 50-50, the speak life into my man, my king. And he ain't nothing but a clown in a crown. Let me build you up. They get all of that they don't deserve and they haven't earned from you when they're able to colonize your mind, your spirit, your will and emotions by lying to you and saying that you are not a preference. You're not as good as and you're not as valuable as, the other woman, the woman that don't look like you, the whites, the Latinas, all that stuff. Nothing wrong with them, but they try to weaponize your African features and everything about you. And first of all, let's be clear. We are the queen mothers. All of humanity came from our womb. So we are all the colors. We are all the hair textures. Go back to Africa, you're going to find them all. And that's where all humanity came from. But they want to make sure you don't know that and you don't embody that. That way, because they underperform so much and they can't compete anywhere else. And they can't be treated like the kangs that they want to be treated like. And they don't want to earn it. So they come back to you because they know that, within the Black culture and society. And yes, this can be for all women to a degree, but right now I'm speaking to my Black women. They understand that within this culture and society, in this country, not over there perhaps, I don't know, but in this country, for decades and decades, the church, society, this everywhere, your families, your great grandmas have taught us to be subservient to them no matter what. Fix their plate, let them eat first. Damn near wash their feet, everything. Bow down to them. That no matter what, they are the most logical leaders. Even if they're leading you to the pit of hell, you're supposed to treat them like they are the leaders. And they understand that we have been conditioned to give them unconditional love and acceptance, and to also be their mammy, and to spoil them, and to never hold them accountable for their derelict behavior, which keeps creating all of what's happening in the Black community right now. Did you know that as it pertains to so-called broken homes and single parents, it is only in the Black community where you have the most single family homes. That's a fact. Google it. I'm not going to sit here and argue with your mama. And according to the FBI, not only is that a fact when it comes to single parent households, there's also the most domestic violence in the Black community. Every 4 to 5 hours around the clock, another Black woman is being murdered. By who? You know who. This is an epidemic within our community. The numbers are starkly different within this community than any other one. A Black woman is most likely, at least 7 times more likely than any other woman on the face of this earth, to be failed by her partner and to be abused in every way and to be killed. It is time to take back the narrative and the story. It is time to give them back all that shame and disdain and everything else because it belongs to them. It does not belong to us. And if you are a single mother, you need to understand it is time to stop carrying that shame and beating yourself up about it. Because if you are a single mother, it is because that man failed you and your child, not because you should have chose better. The burden, if they are supposed to be the leaders and the kings, and if a kingdom is failing, then who is responsible for the failure of that kingdom? Is it the ones that are the most vulnerable, the women and the children? Because they say that we're the weak ones and we're the most vulnerable, right? If an organization fails, who do they blame? Where does the responsibility lie? From the CEO all the way down, but it starts with the head. If they are supposed to be the head, And our community has the most domestic violence, femicide, and children who are bastardized on a regular basis, and mothers who are left with the emotional turmoil of having to raise a family and be the man and the woman, and then they turn around and call us masculine. Well, why is it that we're masculine? Because you're feminine. But if that is the case, then who is to blame? Who is the one that's supposed to be the most responsible according to their own logic? So let's go back to this whole she didn't want to file child support thing. Black women, your mind, your will, and your emotion has been colonized for too long. It is time to give us free. We have allowed, and when I say we, I'm not going to say, I don't mean me, because that is one thing that I have never, ever, ever embodied. Although I've had my own demons that I've had to overcome, and I slayed them bad boys, and I feel so much better on this side, and that's why I'm speaking because I want you to do the same thing. As it pertains to child support and the care of children, so many of them. And if you are a male and you're mad at what I'm saying, it's because I'm talking about you. Because if you are a man worth your weight, there's not gonna be any shame or anything else. But I will say this, I'll talk to you for a second. Those raggedy behind dudes that you go on vacations with, going to Miami and Vegas and everything else, but you know that they're making babies all over the place and they're not taking care of their kids, but somehow they can come up with a couple $1,000s to go on a trip with you. Stop rewarding them for their raggedy behavior. Think about it like this, those women that they're abandoning, those children that they're abandoning, that could be, and sometimes it is, your cousin, your niece, your mama, your sister. Make it that serious and stop hanging with these raggedy behind dudes and rewarding them for ruining families and behaviors. Families and neighborhoods and everything else and society. Ultimately, ruining society. You're right there next to them and you see their bad behavior, but you cover for them. That makes you complicit, and that makes you raggedy by association. Standards, right? Where are they? So let's get back to my sisters. If they've been able to convince women that, and particularly Black women, that when you file child support, somehow you are victimizing them. Somehow it's all when you file child support, that means they're gonna go to jail. That means they're gonna this and that. It doesn't mean any of that. It means they're gonna be held accountable. If you actually have to file, that means you're dealing with a man child who is responsibility averse. First of all, if you are no longer together because he cheated or because he had derelict behavior, because he already was not trustworthy and he proved himself to not to be a man of his word, why would you not get everything in writing on court? You handle your business on paper, and especially the business of your life and your children's life. Do you go to work without a contract and just expect that they're just gonna give you a paycheck every week? No, that's got to be ironclad that you know you're going to be paid. What if your boss just said, "Oh, I'll come around and I'll help out whenever I can. I'll pay you whenever I can. Oh, I can't pay you this month for everything." So why would you do that as it pertains to your children's lives and your home? That's number 1. That's the most important business is your business of your home and your kids. Period. And that always needs to be ironclad. Hold that other parent accountable. Now, you can't force them to come around and visit and all that stuff and be hands-on. And sometimes, honestly, the child's life is better without them, being around and showing them bad habits and breaking their heart because of their inconsistency and all that. But there's one thing that you can control, and you should file them papers. Why does he get to go and run to, you know, and become a passport bro and everything else and be out here and live his best life, running all around, ruining other women's lives because there was no consequences for ruining yours. And you hold the bag and you hold it down yourself and then you lie to yourself because he says, you got it, big dog, you got it, big money. and you take some pride in that. Do you understand that every time you say that, you might as well put a big, like, put some white and red circles on your face and one of them big Ronald McDonald wigs on because you look and sound like a clown. And he's laughing at you. But to your face, he's going to say, "You got it. You got it, queen. My baby mama's a good baby mama." That needs to stop. All of that madness needs to stop. Throw that off of you. Stop. Because you're looking like a fool. It makes you look foolish. Like, take a step back and look at that. You are doing it by yourself and you're not holding somebody else accountable and you're lying to yourself and saying, "It's all good. I got it on my own." Why would you even want to? Even if you're making 6 figures, 7 figures, again, why would you leave any money on the table? It costs. Everything costs to raise that child. Sometimes filing could be the difference between you being able to hire a nanny or not. And of course, after you file, you can't control everything that happens after that, sure. It could be a while, but when it comes to Uncle Sam, you can run, but you can't hide. So eventually, even if the child is grown and now you're in your 50s, don't you think you need to be reimbursed for everything you did? Go ahead and put that in the atmosphere and get your just due, you and your child's just due. And file all them papers. File it all. Go see an attorney. Some of them, legal aid is free if you can't afford one. I offer a service called Legal Shield. Holla at me. That makes a lot of things affordable. Uh, let's say that he works under the table because a lot of them will quit their jobs because they think that it's going to make them avoid having to pay child support. But he's working under the table. Okay, call the IRS. They'll give you the form to file so that you can report them for tax evasion. It may take some time, but play the long game because it's worth it. Because didn't they play the long game with you? Slithering up next to you, pretending to be everything that, studying you and pretending to be everything that they knew that you wanted in order to earn your trust, in order to gain access to your sacred spaces, your in your body, in order to gain access to possibly ruining your life, access to your womb, access to your health. You literally put your life in his hands when you decide to join with him in that way, with or without matrimony. And with matrimony, that's a whole nother thing. You've joined everything. You put your life in this person. You've trusted this person with the outcomes of your life. And a lot of them played the long game in order to get what they wanted to get from you until it's not fun anymore or whatever, or until they get caught just for who they actually are. Don't you think that you should play the long game with something that's a lot more important and worthwhile, which is doing everything that you can to try your best to shore up your child's present and future? Don't you think that child is worth it? So, don't you think you're worth it? That's the other thing. I just want to circle back to that for a minute. You are worth it. You are not supposed to be this so-called strong black queen. Stop letting people say that to you. You got it. Because what they're saying is the microaggressive whisper underneath that undertone is that you don't deserve to be assisted and supported, to be validated, to be valued, to be loved. You are supposed to be exactly what you were brought over here on that ship to be, which is nothing but a mule and a workhorse, taking care of everybody else but yourself. And when you get knocked down, get back up because you got a job to do. We are not there anymore. We can throw that off. Take care of yourself, love yourself, value yourself. Allow yourself to be only respected, valued, and loved, nothing less. You ain't I a woman? Look into that campaign. Ain't I a woman? You are a woman. You are the creator of all. You are the mother of all. You are the sacred space. You nurture all, and you deserve to be nurtured as well. And you also deserve recompense. I'm not with that turn the other cheek mess. I'm about justice. Get yours. All right. Let me get off of here. Tap back into my family. Let me know what you think in the comments. Again, you're listening to Darling Nikki, brand new YouTube. Thank you all for supporting. Special shout out to everyone who has subscribed to my YouTube that came from Bourbon Bougie. That's a fellow fan of hers. Special shout out to Bourbon Bougie. Thank you so much for encouraging me to come out a little bit more. And that's it, you guys. Bye bye.